So while we do a quick check for phone questions, do we have anything else from social media?
Twitter user AccuAstronomy asks, will the current S1 radiation storm and flare activity around sunspot 1944 cause issues for the launch tomorrow?
I don't think so.
Me either.
We do monitor that. We do monitor solar weather as one of our constraints, and at this point we're not seeing anything that's violating our launch criteria.
Dr. Dan Hartman in Houston can probably answer that better for us. ISS monitors that too.
ISS, yeah, we monitor that almost. We get reports. In fact, it was part of our go no-go criteria yesterday at our IMMT. Radiation looks good right now. So far, we're not tracking any problems with that.
Kara was expecting a polar vortex question, and we get solar flare. Just never know what you're going to get. Any other questions here in the audience? Hands. Go ahead. Follow. Let's get you a mic.
Hi, I just want to follow up on exactly what the scrub turnaround conditions are. Could you launch the next day? I think it depends somewhat on how close you get down to the countdown.
I think to keep it simple, if we were to scrub any time before T-minus 10 minutes, we should have an ability to turn around in 24 hours. Inside of 10 minutes, it can get dicey depending on how much of certain commodities we consume. But we have tankers on the standby, and there's still opportunity for 24-hour turnaround. It's just, it becomes dependent on actual events and what it takes to detank and what happens in that process as to whether we can actually get there or not. But before T-minus 10 minutes, we have every expectation that we'd be able to turn around the next day.
You do one more. We'll go to Tart. Again.
Thank you. Tarek Malik again from Space.com I think I have a follow-up for Frank. Last month, as we were leading up to this launch, I had a chance to speak with Rick Mastracchio on the space station. He mentioned he was really looking forward to the arrival of Cygnus because on top of all the great science and stuff, it was going to have some clothes and some goodies and maybe even some Christmas presents on board. I'm wondering if the orbital crew or you've had any instruction from NASA to refresh those presents, if there's extra things, New Year's stuff on board for this flight. Thanks.
Well, we haven't changed them out for Valentine's cards. No, there are some surprises for the crew on board, and we have a few traditional things. And then NASA actually had us load some fresh fruit for them in this last late load, which they'll much appreciate, I'm sure. But we didn't change out too much of the special things. We think they'll enjoy them anyway. Hey, I just got a tweet. This is from at Elvis in Space, and he asked, "Can you tell us a little bit more about the journey of Cygnus from the launch pad to the International Space Station?" Elvis is in charge of our operations, so I'm a little bit disturbed that he's asking this, but we do have a video that I think will show a little bit about our trip to space, and if we could roll that, if I didn't catch you too much by surprise. I was supposed to cue you when I spoke.
Mark, T-minus 5 minutes counting.
Range is green.
Check 378.
This is the video from our demo mission.
Go Antares, go Cygnus.
It was quite an exciting time to get this close and see the countdown go so smoothly. The engines ignited, we lifted off the pad majestically, as Dave Thompson said, and accelerate slowly at first, but then eventually gain a lot of speed. Great views from the rocket cam as we departed the eastern shore of Virginia. You can see Wallops Island beneath us there, and the other launch facilities that are there. It was a very smooth ride for Cygnus, and went pretty much right on the money. The Antares vehicle did exactly what we expected it to. Burns for about 4 minutes.
Three on the first stage.
On the first stage, and then
4 minutes into the flight.
And then another 5 minutes, I think, on stage 2 before they get to payload delivery. Once we were in orbit, we went through a number of, dealt with a few challenges actually, and then had to wait for the Soyuz to dock before we could approach. But once we did, it was a rock-solid ride up the R-bar as we approached the station, and the crew prepared to grapple us. Our GNC team is Frank DeMauro in the back with his touchdown dance, and the team was very excited to see Cygnus finally grappled, and now it's NASA's problem, as somebody said. But the crew did a great job of, Luca and the folks did a great job of attaching it to the Node 2. They really wanted to get into it the first day, but finally the second day NASA let them open the hatch, and they were able to get inside and see the cargo and the few little gifts that we had, and the chocolate, of course, which is a big favorite, that we had provided for them. That's a picture of our team that worked on the Cygnus, development, integration and test, and their signatures that flew in space. And we may get that back down here on Earth someday and display it in the company. We hope it comes back. After 23 days, I think it was, on orbit, we were unberthed and released from the space station, and the next day re-entered the atmosphere above the Pacific, just north of New Zealand, and burned up on re-entry and disposed of the cargo as we were supposed to. So, very successful mission, and very proud of what the team has done. We expect something similar this time. We could be on orbit anywhere between 30 and 45 days this time, depending on the schedule, but we know that the crew and the program want to fill it up with as much disposal cargo as they can. So we're prepared to do that. Any other questions? I don't mean to take over your job.
Please, please. No. Sounds like that'll do it. That's a perfect note to end on. I'll look ahead to some of the things we can expect with launch tomorrow and the operations that'll take us through a Sunday birthing of the Orbital 1 mission. Again, you can find out more information and follow the mission at www.nasa.gov/station. Please help me thank our panelists for their time today. From Wallops, I'm Trent Parado. Thank you very much. We'll see you tomorrow. Good job. Thanks.
Go ahead. I got it.